What is up, world? It's time for another success principle. I realize that this one is late once again, but I just actually really wanted to think about something that mattered a lot to me, and I didn't want to send it out before some of my thoughts were complete. And so what I want to talk to you about is the idea of being status quo and just being the same as everybody else, and for some reason having this desire to fit in with everybody else, and why we actually have that. And so the analogy that I once heard was, if you take a photo and you put it in a photocopy machine and you make a copy of that paper, once the copier has spit out that copy, if you reopen the copy machine, take out the original photo and place the copy into the machine and then scan that and make a copy, you will get another photo. If you keep repeating this process, sooner or later, the photo that you keep copying loses all of its ability as a photo. It is no longer clear. It is no longer a good-looking photo. It is blurry. And so I think sometimes that this has even happened in life to people, is they look at somebody who is amazing, and rather than that person teaching the person who they idolize how to become the best version of their self, their own unique person, they duplicate themselves to the best of their abilities, and this person soon becomes a copy. Then later down the road, this person kind of likes the idea of looking like this other person who has become a copy of the original person, and they assume all the characteristics and traits, and sooner or later they look the same as the person they idolize. And I'm not saying it's wrong to hang around people who are great and hanging around people who have achieved a level of success in their life or who are doing something. I think the problem we run into is when we try and fully copy our personas and ourselves to impersonate this person who we idolize. And this, for me, is really interesting, because then these people no longer are able to give the world themselves and the best versions of themselves, but they are giving the world their best attempt at being somebody who they are not. And so I want to know why people do this. I want to know why, for some reason, we have this tendency to instead, okay, check this out. For me personally, this is me personally, but I would rather stand on my own principles, on my own select values, and be alone than look like everybody else over here and share the exact same values and just live the exact same way as everybody else. And so one thing I've realized lately, just with talking, not necessarily with my friends, but with people who I know, I've noticed that there has been a lot of people who were once incredible people. They had these incredible dreams, incredible visions, and in their desire to find friendship, in their desire to find connection, they, instead of finding other people who were like-minded towards the dreams and the goals and the greatness that they had inside of them and the vision they had for their life, they just looked around at everybody else and decided that it was okay to give up some of the values that they had. It was okay for them to lower the moral standard of which they chose to live by, just so that they could fit in with everybody else. And so now they have friends, now they have company, now they have this feeling of belonging, but they're no longer true to themselves. They're no longer who they are. And so back to that lesson of the photocopy of the photocopy of the photocopy, I have a question for you. And that question would be, are you trying to fit in the crowd just because you desire to belong? Or are you trying to fit into a crowd of people because you just want to have friendship and you want to be comfortable? I guess my final question would be, are you who you want to be? Or are you just becoming like everybody else? And I understand that the term, like everybody else, is a very broad statement. But I think the message in that, when I say, are you just like everybody else, are you choosing to just accept the status quo for people all reacting the same, all responding the same, all living the same, everybody having the same problems, the same issues. And in the process of that happening, you've given up on yourself. You've given up on some of the dreams that you've had because you didn't think it was possible, because you didn't see anybody else who was living the way that you thought would be possible. And so I guess the one thing that I desire more than anything else that you would live true to who you are, and that you would not betray the person you were created to be just to simply fit in with the other people around you, to find friendship and to find belonging in a group. Because if you have to give up who you are to fit in with a certain group, I don't think that's worth it. I don't think it is worth it, because there are dreams inside of your heart. There are visions that you have up here for your life that I think are so much more worth getting uncomfortable and being uncomfortable for a little while rather than lowering your standard and joining a crowd. Because if over here you can stand strong and stick true to the morals and the values of which you have and you hold, I believe people will come along into your life who share those same things. And then you're no longer trying to become a copy of everybody else over here, but you get to be your own unique person over here, surrounded by like-minded people who also retain their same person and the same ability to be themselves, but it's a group of people who are pushing towards a common goal. And I think that is the most beautiful thing. A community made up of people who understand that they are different, but they can each bring something to the table, rather than just collectively coming together and all beginning to merge and look like the same person. I think it's a beautiful thing when people from different backgrounds and different ideologies and different respects can come together as a group and identify that they are different, but find power within those differences, rather than just being over here and molding and fitting and just becoming like everybody else. And so my challenge to you today is ask, who do you want to be? Figure that out. Figure out what you want to do with your life, where you want to go, what kind of values you want to have. And then my challenge to you would be to, no matter if you are standing alone, stay true to who you are, rather than going over and accepting the status quo of this is what life was meant to be like. That is my deepest desire for you, for anybody listening to this video, is that you would never lower the standards, lower the dreams or the visions you have for your life, or lower the goals that you wish to set due to the fact that you are standing alone. Stay true to who you are, and people will join you on your quest for that of which you want to become. Peace out. Stay unique. Let's go change this world together.